they decided to double team him, and Gonzaga very fortunate they received a foul call in that play.
I think he committed a foul there, but it was actually the second little bump with the body that was called. I don't disagree with the fact that Brandon Paul committed a foul.
Right.
I'm just not sure if I agree with which one they got.
Yeah, well, you can reach in the cookie jar once, but usually on that second chance, it'll come up empty.
That was the 10th team foul as well against Illinois, so automatic 2 shots for Sacre. He knocks both down. So Robert Sacre, who has not grabbed 1 rebound here in the first half, still has 13 points to lead all scorers.
And you would expect a guy his size to have bigger rebound numbers.
Elias Harris with the steal. And the lob. And Harris the throwdown. Kevin Pangos. Beautiful feed.
Well, Gonzaga switching up their defenses now. 2-2-1, 3/4 court trap. Ball comes on the baseline or sideline. They'll double team the basketball. Elias Harris shooting the gap. Now they're sagging back into a 2-3 zone. So trying to get the Illini out of rhythm.
Shaw can't hit. Harris taps it away from Egwu. Harris left alone. Instead it's Stockton for 3. And Maniscalco the rebound.
Nana was open underneath. Gonzaga doing a really good job on the road, despite the hot hand of the Illini, staying close here in the first half.
Shaw forces one up over Sacre. It's an air ball, and Mike Hart has the rebound. All of a sudden, you've got Nana Egwu and Mike Shaw playing catch on either side of the lane. And neither of those 2 guys used to being a go-to option offensively. That's another foul called on Egwu. So that will put Robert Sacre back at the free throw line again, and that's the 3rd on Egwu.
See, what's a little underrated about Robert Sacre's game is his level of conditioning. And he's running the floor, he's banging bodies, he's hunting the basketball, and then he's still strong enough to finish. It's a part of his game that not many people talk about, but very well conditioned to be so big.
And a player that, according to Mark Few, as we've got multiple substitutions for both teams, has a light about him. When he walks into a room, Mark Few says he's never been around a more positive person, telling us heartwarming stories about Sacre in Spokane. The team, of course, Gonzaga's basketball team is the team in Spokane.
Right.
So the players make hospital visits all the time. And Mark Few said you could walk into a hospital room with a child who maybe has a week to live. And he said, I can't even stay in the room. And Sacre plops right down next to a child. What do you like? Oh, I'm a big Star Wars fan. Great, let's talk about Star Wars. And he will spend a half an hour at the kid's bedside as if instantaneously they're best friends. 3 in and out for Richardson. And it's lost out of bounds, but they say it's off Egwu, or check that off Jim Day. Mark Few said that Robert Sacre has a gift.
Yes.
In that respect.
And he does. And you and I have been fortunate enough to call enough Gonzaga games over the years to be around this young man. And he's just gregarious. Every time we see him, he's smiling or joking or jabbing his teammates. But when the ball goes up, he's all business and a fierce competitor. Similar to what his dad was in the NFL, Greg McClure.
Fadeaway comes up short for Sacre. Loose ball, tie up, a held ball, and the possession arrow gives it back to Illinois. Terrific back and forth first half between Gonzaga and the Illini.
Well, Elias Harris is going to finish every time.
All right, Bram, thanks very much. We were both watching a little bit of that Kentucky-North Carolina game before we came over, and it's hard to not picture those 2 teams right in the middle of the Final Four run as we head down the stretch. But Gonzaga and Illinois putting on a pretty good show here in the first half in Champaign. A red-hot shooting first half for both teams.
Yeah, both teams doing an outstanding job, but Illinois doing it from the backcourt with 23 points from their backcourt, but Gonzaga 21 points in the paint, primarily from Sacre. So both teams shooting well, but 2 different approaches.
Gonzaga drops into a zone. It's Myers, Leonard, and Tyler Griffey with 2 fouls apiece, still on the Illinois bench. Hart That's off the marker. Henry, pardon me, and the rebound pulled down by Mike Hart.
Michael Henry in the game right now. I've never seen a shot he didn't like.
Sacre got blocked by the rim underneath. And you can help us beat cancer. The V Foundation awards 100% of direct donations and net proceeds of events to fund cancer research. Log on to jimmyv.org or call 1-800-4JIMMY-V to donate as we continue Jimmy V Week in all of our games this week.
Last time we saw Robert Sacre not finish at the rim. That's one of the questions that people have about him at the next level, is his lack of athleticism around the rim and lift. But on the college level, he's quite effective.
Great step in and a takeaway by Crandall Head. Crosses over and lays it home.
Well, I know the Illinois bench has a huge sigh of relief. They've been waiting for a long time for Crandall Head to make those kind of plays right there.
Wide open jumper, a little too strong by Dower. Here comes Crandall Head again. Some energy off the bench for the Illini.
Gonzaga has really elected to stay in this 2-3 zone. Trying to buy themselves time and stay out of foul trouble going into the halftime.
Maniscalco finds the soft spot. That floater comes up short, though. On the offensive glass, though, is Mike Henry.
Boy, Mike Henry can hunt the rock down. It's a young man that the 25-point score in high school in Chicago. Great size at 6'6".
Sacre, jump hook. That's off the mark. The loose ball ends up with the Illini. Henry for three.
And Mark Few wanting to get a set play here. That's an ear tug. So let's look at a high screen and roll. Try to get Sacre the ball on the post.
Coming up on 5 minutes without a field goal for the Zags. Shot clock under 10. Pangos weaves his way through traffic and banks it home. What a pretty move by Kevin Pangos.
Well, we've seen two of those in the last minute. One from Maniscalco and one from Kevin Pangos. For a guy with sore knees, that's music to my ears right there. Don't need any hops for that, Bob. You just a nice floater off the glass. Now that's a YMCA game right there.
Good hands by Stockton. Tuesday night on Jimmy V Week. It ends with a college basketball doubleheader on ESPN. First at 7 Eastern, number 13 Missouri takes on Villanova. And then at 9 Eastern, it's the Huskies of Washington taking on 16th ranked Marquette. The Jimmy V Classic presented by Corona Extra on ESPN and also available in spectacular 3D Tuesday night. A timeout on the floor here at Assembly Hall. A close one in the first half at Illinois. Stephen Bardo back during Jimmy V Week here on ESPN between Gonzaga and Illinois. And just to prove how cancer truly touches everyone, the officiating crew. It's Mike Greenstein, who came over before the game along with Frank Harvey and Rick Bastel, the officials of today's game, and wanted us to pass along our best good wishes to Brian Rood, one of their fellow officials, as Jim Day comes up short, so a chance for Gonzaga to hold for the final shot. But Brian Rood, an official on the West Coast that works with these three guys quite often, fighting cancer of the lymph nodes as we speak. So Jimmy V Week trying to raise money for a disease that truly has touched everyone, as we're down to 4 seconds to go in the first half. Hoisting it up and banking it home is Stockton. And the first half ends on an up note for the Zags in a way I'm sure they didn't expect.
Hey, but they'll take it.
The first three of the first half for Gonzaga. And it's a tight one as we head back for the halftime report. Bram Weinstein and Andy Katz. Back in Champaign, just about set for the start of the second half between Illinois and Gonzaga. The Illini with a 2-point lead. And once again, welcome back to Jimmy V Week for Cancer Research on ESPN as we continue our commitment to the V Foundation and Jim Valvano's dream to defeat cancer. Bob Wischusen, Stephen Bardo set for the start of the second half. interesting trends in the first half, particularly with the big men for both teams. And I'm sure Bruce Weber is going to be excited to have his big men back on the floor. He protected them from getting into further foul trouble.
He did very well because Robert Sacre drew 8 fouls against the Illini front line, but they were able to rotate the players and keep them pretty much without foul trouble. But this is the dynamic duo that kept Illinois going early. Brandon Paul and then DJ Richardson elevates for the 3. 2 junior backcourt mates really sparked the Illini with 18 points between them in the first half. But usually, Bob, you ice your knees, you ice your back, but the Illini bigs will have to ice their chest once Robert Sacre is done. Well, look at him slam his left shoulder into the defenders to create space. Robert Sacre making his presence felt here in the first half.
What a strange stat line as well for Sacre in the first half. 18 minutes, 14 points, led all scorers, didn't commit a foul, but also didn't grab a rebound.
So that can indicate one of 2 things, that he's being very aggressive on the offensive end, but maybe coasting a little bit on the defensive end, and his numbers on the rebounding side, average-wise, are not very good for a man his size that plays that many minutes.
That bucket by Pangos continues what is now a 7-0 Gonzaga run to tie the game.
And Gonzaga, about the 8-minute mark of the first half, went to zone defense and really got themselves back into the ball game.
It's back tap by Leonard. Knocked out of bounds by Gonzaga. But Myers-Leonard back in the game, kept it alive. He and Tyler Griffey didn't play for the last 8 minutes of the first half, as Bruce Weber had both of his front court guys pick up 2 fouls each, and as a result sat them down.
Oh man, Illinois got away with that lazy inbounds pass.
Griffey for 3. In and out. And the rebound in traffic to Marquise Carter.
And Gonzaga wanting to get the pace a little bit quicker here. Secure the defensive glass, and they look to push. To be Pangos, to be Carter. Look to advance the rock quickly.
Back down to the post to Sacre. Fades away. Comes up short, well short.
So now Illinois scouting, trying to force Sacre away from that white hook.
Nice slide to the goal and a blocking foul call. Myers-Leonard, great feed from Paul. And Mike Hart called for the first personal here in the second half against Gonzaga.
Nice slip by Myers-Leonard. Hart trying to draw the contact, but doesn't allow for space for Myers-Leonard to come down, drawing the foul.
Couldn't see his feet as well. He might have been in the restricted area. So as a secondary defender, if you're in that restricted area, it doesn't matter if your feet are set or not. It is never going to be called a charge. It'll always be a block, but then Paul turns it over. And then Pangos gives it right back, his pocket pick. Then Pangos takes it back, but it's out of bounds. Off of Gonzaga, so it gets a little bit sloppy, but it ends up with the Illini.
And Mark Few calling, it looks like they're going to stay in man-to-man defensively, but very effective. In the back end of the first half, switching defenses was Gonzaga. They used a 2-2-1, 3-quarter court pressure. Elias Harris came away with a dunk and a steal on one exchange. Just kept the line out of bounds.
Pretty move, the jump hook by Myers-Leonard.
Ooh, Myers-Leonard going with the Keem Dream Olajuwon with the Keem shake on the block.
Drawing contact was Carter. And it looks like that foul might be called on Leonard, so he picks up his 3rd. So now what does Bruce Weber do?
It appears Myers-Leonard caught a knee from Marquise Carter when he went to the bucket. Right there, Leonard trying to stay straight up, Bob. Let's take a look. Oh, looked like he hyperextended his knee when he came down.
He landed awkwardly, but he will stay in the game with a sore knee and 3 fouls. And Marquise Carter to the free throw line. Can't get the first to fall. Marquise Carter last year was kind of the enigma for Gonzaga. Came on at the end of the year and ended up not only being the WCC tournament MVP, but in the NCAA tournament, as Leonard will sit down after all. Picks up 24 points in the win over St. John's. Misses 2 at